I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
And this is At the Base of the Giant's Throat. Holy moly.
Battle of Mice. This one is for Neil, obviously, as you've seen on the bottom.
Obviously.
He said, and we're not reading all of this before, some of it we are supposed to read after, but he said he was hoping that we'd listen to this, on or close to Halloween, because the first time he listened to it, he found it extremely unsettling. So he thought it would be perfect for Halloween time.
This is saying that it's post-metal, experimental, avant-garde, post-rock. So this should be extremely interesting.
And some of the stuff that because I read the rest of his thing, but some of the stuff that he said afterwards, I don't think it was meant to be funny, but I did find it kind of entertaining. So I'll tell you guys about that after. Anyway, in the meantime, you're gonna make your announcements.
For timely topical political commentary, you can hit us up at Middle America Vin and Sori. Me and DL Beluga have been grinding. We did a 2-video day yesterday, so lots of fun.
He loves it. There's a belly here now.
Lots of interactions in the comment section. It's a good, it's a good time.
You guys, I'm coming very close to delivery now. I'm getting scared. Tomorrow I will be 39 weeks?
38.
38 weeks. I keep getting it screwed up.
Yeah.
I think because I'm so...
Let me see here. I'm pretty sure, you're 38. This app says you're 37 in 6 days right now.
Okay, so 38 weeks. All right.
So, it's on the way. At the Base of the Giant's Throat. If you, dear listener, would like your song reviewed, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You do that 3 times, you get bumped down at $75 rate. Or you can join an alliance, $1 at the gate, the Patreon, and they have their own little cruise on Facebook and etc. Although the True Cult has made a migration away from Facebook and is now completely a Discord organization. So they're very...
I think that works out for a lot of people because there's so many people that are like, I don't want anything to do with Facebook. So.
And rightly so. There are some very shadowy folks in the True Cult, which makes them the most intriguing alliance. But let's listen to At the Base of the Giant's Throat. Let's go.
All right, Neil, here we go.
One hand on your neck, while the other fumbles through broken exchanges in back rooms. Youth in sin, wave oceans aside. I made space in my night. Resolved to turn it into lines. Your fingers must get tired, and drones make you wild. Why don't you wear your sleepless smile? Point it at me for a while.
Holy cow. That was awful. She was saying, "Why are you here?" and screaming. Oh my god. Okay. Wow. So he had said, the vocalist Julie Christmas and guitarist keyboardist Josh Graham met in Austin, Texas when their respective bands played South by Southwest Music Festival in 2005. The pair hated each other immediately. When the two bands embarked on a West Coast tour together later that year, Julie and Josh's attitudes toward one another took on a decidedly different hue. A long-distance relationship, because he was in LA and she was in NYC, ensued. The furious and occasionally harrowing nature of which is reflected in the music of Battle of Mice. The sonic philosophy of the band reflects a huge primal range of emotion: love, lust, jealousy, whiskey, and blind rage, Julie explains. And while it might be pointed out that whiskey is not necessarily a clinically recognized human emotion, it is unlikely that anyone will misunderstand the implications of this inclusion after hearing Battle of Mice. By the time the sixth song, Cave of Spleen, was recorded, Julie and Josh couldn't even bear to be in the same room together. As such, the guitars and vocals were completed on different days. The vocals in one take with no pre-written lyrics. The result is an album that is alternately hypnotic and horrifying. The 911 call at the end. The group won't even discuss what that was, but they put that in there. I just thought it was entertaining that, like, how people, like, you know how some people, like, they really, like, okay, they didn't like each other, and then they were doing the long distance thing, they were working it, they were doing their music, and then they can't even be in the same room, like, they can't even record a song together. Like, just the cycles of how, like, things go, especially if people have, you know, issues. But then when I heard the song, all of a sudden it wasn't so funny anymore, because I was like, holy crap, these people had major issues. Like, this doesn't sound healthy at all. It's not just your typical, like, I can't be around you. It's like, it sounds like they had some major issues.
Yeah, I mean, you know, with artistic people, that's kind of what they're about. They're kind of volatile and, you know, strange.
Yeah.
And people love that shit. They, you know, there's certain people that like that type of,
The people in the relationship? Like,
yeah, they like that sort of volatility and all that, because, you know, they get bored when stuff is too, you know, when people are getting along too well, they don't like it, they get bored. So they like the volatility, but holy moly. I mean,
I don't like volatility.
Yeah, that 911 call at the end was pretty, you know what's interesting, because I actually thought the song was about 9/11.
Oh, when it talked about, like, the tower.
Well, it talked about skyscrapers and,
yeah.
and all that. And so I was like, oh, okay.
The lyrics were kind of wrong on Genius.
Well, it looks like she was freestyling.
Yeah, but
that's what they said. They said that they were freestyling. So I know it says thick skin, but she said thick sin, right?
Yeah.
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 But holy moly, she was freestyling this the whole time. Which, you know, I don't know, maybe because I think anytime you're a writer, you always have like a phrase or two in your head.
Yeah.
That doesn't get connected anywhere.
Yeah.
But you know.
Well, it didn't rhyme.
So I'm sure there's some of that interspersed too, but
yeah, for sure. It didn't rhyme, so that would make it.
Yeah, although, it went really well rhythmically, though. It wasn't, like, completely avant-garde. Like, sometimes I think there's certain artists that, like, say they're avant-garde because they're just too lazy to actually make stuff work. Because, you know, sometimes it takes work. But I think with her, I don't know, man. She seems to be extremely talented, lyrically speaking. Because even though it was, like, you know, looks like just a stream of consciousness, like, because I used to do that, you know, I just like write whatever comes in your head, and it was, but this is kind of coherent to some degree. But yeah, where she says, our face is squeezed in glass and tin, inanimate objects snatch at your skin.
Yeah.
Does it say skin or sin there?
Right there, right there. Our faces squeezed in glass and tin, inanimate objects snatch at your skin.
Yeah. One hand on your neck while the other fumbles through broken exchanges in back rooms. That seems to be about their relationship. You know, hand on your neck, and then, you know, broken exchanges in back rooms. Holy moly.
What do you mean? Like they're doing stuff in the back room?
Well, there's broken exchanges, like there's, you know, conversations or whatever. And, you know, when you're in a band and you're about to perform, there's a back room, dressing rooms, whatever you want to call them. So that seems to be like hearkening back to, it just seems to be their relationship. He's got a hand on her neck, or she's got a hand on his neck.
But is this...
Holy moly.
I'm a little confused as to if this is supposed to be like what type of exchange is that? Is it like, it's like they're fighting, or is it kind of like?
Well, she says they're broken.
Something hot before going out.
She said broken exchanges, so you know what I mean. It could be.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily tell you what it is, because it could be like, you know, when stuff is not going good in the relationship, and then sometimes like sometimes like the relationship is high on communication, or sometimes the relationship is high on like the sexual stuff that you're doing, like, and the relationships will go through different phases. So sometimes when like a certain type of closeness isn't there, there's more like sexual stuff going on, and sometimes when there's not so much that, but there's, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know if it was like she's saying broken exchanges, so their like communication maybe wasn't good, they were kind of like fighting, but at the same time I don't know, the hand on the throat, if that was supposed to be like rough play, or if it was not good, you know, like as in they're fighting.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't know. I mean, she made this up in the studio, so, you know, like, you can't really say there's much intentionality. At most, what you could say is, okay, this is subliminal, right? Like, she's going into her subconscious to write this song, which I think is pretty cool. Like, sometimes, like the subconscious is a really interesting idea, because, like, when you get guys, like, rapping, like, when they're freestyling, like, I was watching a rapper actually, because a lot of times when people say freestyle, it's not really, like, freestyling anymore. It's like they have a verse that's written for a beat that isn't on their record. That's what they're talking about when they claim freestyle. But this guy was actually free. He was truly freestyling. And the stuff that he was saying was just very interesting, because you can only draw from your experience, and you can only draw from your subconscious when you're making stuff up on the fly. Yeah. So, you know.
Yeah, you thought he was really good.
Yeah, he's actually my new favorite rapper right now. I really like him. While other fumbles through broken exchanges in the back room, so it says thin sin, right?
Yeah. Usually if somebody has thin skin, that means they're cowardly.
Huh? Oh, yeah. Well, not really cowardly, but that they take everything to heart.
Like bothers them.
Yeah, everything you say bothers them.
Yeah.
You know.
But she's saying you thin sin.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she's making a play on the phrase. Yeah. Wave oceans aside. It's really interesting, because at the end of the song they have the ocean kind of overtakes the 911 call. I was listening to that. Yeah. I was listening to that, and I was thinking about that Netflix. There's this Netflix, I'm not going to say the title. This is a Netflix thing where the wife and the kids go missing, and it turns out, obviously, that the guy did XYZ horribleness to his whole family. They didn't live by the sea, but for some reason that it made me think of that guy and all that craziness.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's so interesting how art, like, hits people differently. That part to me, because she was still screaming in the background, but the sound of not just the ocean, but also the sound of the music overpowered her singing. And to me, it was like all of these horrible things that we know are going on in our society, but we allow other things to drown them out. Mm-hmm. You know, the trafficking, the domestic abuse, abortion, all the different things where horrific things are happening, and it's all being drowned out by music, media, whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. Just anything to drown it out.
Mm-hmm.
But those screams are still happening.
Yeah. Yeah, brutal stuff. This song is even more evidence that human beings are basically good. Holy moly. Yeah.
Does Alex say that humans are basically good?
Alec?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had that conversation with him. Alec, you know, he's been on his anti-porn kick. It's been really cool. He's been posting a lot of what do you call it? Fight the new drug stuff.
Really?
He's been doing a really, really good job.
Wow,
Shout out to the big
cool.
homie Alec. I made space in my night, resolved to turn it into lines. Your fingers must get tired and drones make you wild. Why don't you wear your sleepless smile pointed at me for a while? Smoke around the giant's neck that makes
Is that like,
clouds turn
I
red.
just took that as he was like kind of like going out on her, you know what I mean? He was taking his sleepless smile, like he wasn't asleep when it was time to sleep and he was going out, smiling all over the place.
Well, maybe he's an insomniac and he kept going out at night and she was all jealous of it. Because they talked about love, lust, jealousy, all that jazz.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what.
I wouldn't like it if you were leaving at night.
Yeah, but I feel like people in relationships like these generally don't make like hard commitments to each other. You know, it's kind of like this, like, oh yeah, we can be like super modern and you know, we don't really need all that stuff. So it looks to me like, you know, it was that type of relationship, but then she started getting feelings and he'd be jealous. She'd be jealous, he'd go out, you know, because... And that's the thing, like, especially when you're in bands, like, your schedule's, like, flipped upside down. Because you start working at 8, 9 p.m.
Right.
That's when you start working.
Right.
So, after that, like, you've got all this energy, you don't know where to take it. So,
Right.
I don't know. Maybe they were... And, you know, that's the other thing. It's like, when you have these non-conventional relationships, like, there's this... At the beginning, it's like, yeah, we don't need to be possessive and blah, blah, blah. We'll just, you know, but then after a while, inevitably, somebody gets feelings for the other person. And, you know, so I think that's her way of probably saying she doesn't want him to go out at night, you know, whatever, without her or whatever. And then she wants to kill him for going out, smoke around the giant's neck that makes the
What?
clouds turn red. Look, it says smoke around the giant's neck that makes the clouds turn red. This is why I thought it was about 9/11, because she was talking about skyscrapers and everything.
Yeah.
And
But-
so smoke around the giant's neck that makes the clouds turn red. So I was like, oh, okay, that's 9/11 because, you know, the giant buildings and there was smoke around
Yeah,
it and the clouds
yeah.
turned red because people were dying. People basically died in the air.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, she's talking about 9/11.
Yeah, well, how did you get that she was killing him, that she wants to kill him?
Well, because if he's the giant and there's smoke around his neck that makes the clouds turn red, I'm assuming the clouds would then be his hair or whatever. Like, she'd be killing him. But
Oh, when you said it, I was thinking that, like, you know, like you see these horrible movies and the person's getting, like, killed and their eyes turn bloodshot. So then, like, his vision, like, he would be looking up and it would turn the
you
red.
strangle a person. That's
Right.
what happened. But, like,
And she talked about the throat, so...
I had a girlfriend like that back in the day in New York City, and she was crazy, and she was into serial killers and all this shit, and she tried to choke me one time. It was insane. There was nothing like, you know, fun about it. Like, she was like, you know, whatever. And it was a pretty crazy situation.
So wait, in a situation like that, okay,
Yeah.
so Vin doesn't think that if a woman is slapping a man in the face, he doesn't think that the man should, like, block that.
You can extricate yourself from the situation.
Okay,
without
so,
harming
like, in
the
that
young lady.
situation, what do you do? I mean, are you allowed to remove her hands from your throat?
I mean,
or-
you just change. I mean, you know, you just move this way. The angle changes and, you know, releases. That's not that difficult. Plus, I mean, it was a girl. You know what I'm saying? It's not like there was a real problem. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah, but so then how is there not a real problem to just do this?
Well, because if you're blocking when somebody's like coming at you, they could hurt themselves. That's the difference. So, but yeah, like, anyway, I had a relationship like that, and, you know, like, we were into a whole bunch of dark shit and all that. So it
Do you
was,
think if you would have stayed dark like that, you guys would still be together?
no, because I would,
let's say you never had children and you stayed dark.
No, I would have never married her if I stayed that way. You know what I'm saying?
If you stayed dark?
Yeah, I would have married her. Like, I would have been like, there's a lot of things there's a lot of things where relationship-wise where the dude has the advantage. And I know people aren't going to like that, but even in this song, you can kind of see it. Mm-hmm. Like, it's, so you just allow certain things that, if I was in another kind of mentality that, I would have. If I had a different kind of mentality, then things would have been different. It's hard to explain. I'm not going to say it on camera. But, no, I don't think we would have been together either way. Like, the thing was doomed from the start, to be honest with you. And we both knew it. So it's just one of those things.
Okay.
But, yeah, shout out to mega dysfunctional relationships. Holy shit.
I feel like there's got to be a lot of that on our channel.
Yeah, but there's different degrees. There's like people who are sick because they think it's cool or because, whatever. But then there are people that have severe issues. Mm-hmm. And that's a completely different ball game and a completely different energy. Most of the time people like playing around and play acting about it. But there are some very bad combinations of people that is dangerous. So this seems to be in that kind of category, although they both had their outlet for art, which, kind of offsets certain types of energies, you know what I mean? If you've got art, you've got a valid means of exercising those demons, then, that changes things. But there are extremely volatile, sick relationships that are not good. Mm-hmm. But it gets romanticized a lot, especially in the metal community. It gets romanticized a lot. But when you're in the middle of that shit, especially if you're like trying to move past that type of mentality, it's not good. It's not good. What do you give it?
I like that sort of desperate sound. Obviously, you guys know that. Her vocal style. But at the same time, it was like in this moment has that kind of desperate sound, but it sounds like she's gonna overcome with it. You know what I mean? Like, and OTEP, same thing. Like,
yeah, in this moment,
this one,
she's a lot more polished though.
Yeah,
conventional. This is all over the place.
This
I like
one
that.
Is like it like did. I agree with you, Neil. Like it like kind of put me like I felt a little off. Like and like something was really not right. And especially when you hear the story, then you're like, okay, like stuff wasn't right. Like that's why, she was doing the song, and that the song was not pre-decided what she was going to do lyrically. That's pretty crazy. And then the end, when it hit the end, and it got that.
What was the name of the other guy what was the name of the dude she was with?
The when it got to the end and it had that 911 thing. So that was pretty crazy.
Well, there you go. What do you give the song?
I guess I'm going to have to go with. I'm going high with it because it was pretty crazy. 9.89.
This is 8.8 for me. Good song. Holy moly.
Are they both still alive?
Yeah, both still alive, inshallah.
Okay.
There you
they
are.
Just made their separation.
Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.
while the other fumbles through broken exchanges in back rooms. Youth in sin, wave oceans aside. I made space in my mind. Resolve